Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Brunch with the Halliwells. I am Rob, the host, and I am here with co-host Ryan. Hey, Ryan, welcome back.
Hey, Rob and Charmies.
All right, so we are doing part 2 of the double feature of, I guess what we can call this, the Avatar Utopian spell. I guess we're seeing the aftermath of the spell now.
It's definitely a double feature of Avatar goodness, realness.
Yeah. This episode also is being filmed because Patreon has hit its goal for the month of for November. So yay for that. They will get to see this episode visually. Ryan last week put together a wonderful visual episode to watch. He included some images, some clips. It's really cool, and we're also like laughing our butts off. So
the game. I actually went back, Rob, maybe 2 or 3 times just to watch the game, and you laughing when I said cowboy time. She's like, cowboy time! I laughed so hard over that. Like, that alone. Like, your reaction just, oh my god. So
it's too funny. Well, today I have this big giant spotlight on my head. I'm just like, because I don't have any good lighting, so I have this lamp just blazing on my forehead. It's all shiny.
But doesn't he look like an elder, everybody? He's wearing like a golden color and he's glowing.
Well, again, this will be featured on Patreon. This is for everyone. You don't have to be at a specific tier. But again, as a collective, should the goal be reached, we will record one of the episodes of that month.
The collective, eh?
Yeah.
What are we avataring?
Yeah. All right, so this episode, now, okay, this is the second half. We see what happens. It's like one and done. We built all of this up, but yet we resolve it all in one episode. I don't know how I feel about that. The episode wasn't boring, but it was very lackluster, in my opinion. I didn't expect any big fights or anything, but at the same time, I think the conflict just wasn't big. I think there was more in this episode in regards to the message, free will, destiny, people deciding to do good instead of being forced to, dictator versus, all that good stuff. Like, yeah. I totally get it. But it was a little lackluster for me watching the second half. What did you think of the episode?
I agree. I think that at this point, it's just basically clearing the way for the Zanku as the big bad for the season. But yeah, it was just kind of like, and they went away.
Well, there were also a lot of plot holes and questions that I had regarding how the utopia was even shaped, and well, I mean, we'll get into all of that.
There was things that there was some points I agree to. I was like, wait, is that a rule? But wait, is this not like how it should be? Yeah, confusing.
Well, we will talk about it. Our food is coming. We'll have brunch, and we'll definitely get into all of this. What was that play, though?
Honestly, I thought everyone in this episode, I didn't want to give it to anybody. But when I thought about it, I guess Leo sacrificing himself to have Phoebe get that book vision, I guess, but I have words for Leo too, but I'll give it to Leo because he finally woke up at the last minute.
Okay, all right. So my play, actually, I love this scene. It's so funny. It's real quick, but Leo comes in, and Piper and Paige are at the party, and then. It was Leo and Phoebe coming in, and Piper goes to Leo, and then Paige goes to Phoebe, and then Paige goes to Piper and Leo, and she's like, hi. And then it's just silent, and she goes, all right, I'm going to go mingle. She read the room. Clearly there was some tension. She was like, okay, I'm out. I'm not going to sit here or stand here and deal with all of this. It's like, I'm going to go mingle now. I love that move. It was just
was great because Paige probably had no idea who the hell any of these people were. I don't think any of the Halliwells knew who these people were in their house. They don't have these men's friends.
But she definitely read the room and was like, okay, these two obviously need a moment, so I'm gonna go. What about MVP.
It pains me again to give it to someone who I feel like they don't deserve it, but for lack of anyone else in this episode, I'll give it to Phoebe for waking up again too conveniently right when it's time, even though her and Leo were the go, 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 goes. But her getting that vision, her kind of like questioning why the man at her job died. So, okay, you came to the party early, Phoebe, with the avatars, but now you're seeing through like Leo. So, all right, so I'll give it to the two of them.
Okay.
Begrudgingly.
Okay. You and I may see this a little different in this episode, but my MVP actually is Leo. So a big part of it was just his, I guess, his belief that the sisters will come through, and he literally died. He sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
And it actually took me a second to even remember what he was doing, because I'm like, why are the demons attacking the house? And then I'm like, oh, the conflict thing. So I forgot that the avatars were so easy to just get rid of Leo. It was just like that, and I was like, wow, he knew he was going to die, and they were just like, I know you'll fix it, do this, do that. I don't know, I just found that admirable. I just didn't, I couldn't believe that he would just sacrifice himself so easily. It was so crazy. But yeah, I mean, him waking up, and, you know, we can talk about the whole history of the storyline, but when he needed to come through, he came through.
Yes, thankfully.
So
they both did.
I'm giving him my MVP just for that particular, sacrifice. Now, out of all the men that you saw in this episode, did anyone new make your hot man meter?
No.
Yeah, there was no one that I wanted to add myself. So no,
I feel bad.
Additional well, like I said, this episode didn't really do much. I mean, maybe one of the new avatars that we saw in the big room, but nobody spoke, so they don't get it. So it's okay. We have an entire half of a season left. There will be plenty of dudes coming up.
I know one that's going right on my list as soon as his appearance.
All right, should we get started?
Yes.
Season 7, Episode 13, Charmageddon. This originally aired January 30th, 2005. It was written by Henry Alonzo Myers and directed by John T. Kretschmer. All the usual suspects are back this episode, so we won't get into that, but I will like to highlight guest starring and contribute to archive footage. Dorian Gregory is Daryl Morris, Jennifer Rhodes, Penny Halliwell, Ken Marino is Miles, T.W. King as Andrew Trudeau, Julian McMahon, Cole Turner, and also Drew Fuller back as Chris Halliwell.
I didn't even think of that, because those could count as our hot men, right? Technically.
If you wanted to put them in, that's totally up to you. They are not making my list, you know.
Too quick. I need more lingering face shots.
So Charmageddon is the conflict-free utopian world, can only be protected if the avatars controls who lives and dies. Leo gives up his life when he is unable to persuade the Charmed Ones that the avatars will kill innocent people. Okay, go ahead.
So the world is free of conflict and strife. No one is aware of what the avatars have done, but the world seems much improved. One man, however, isn't feeling the love, and he's arguing with a cop. An avatar gestures, and the man simply vanishes. Cue the credits. Elise notes to Phoebe that the paper is the thinnest they've ever printed. There's almost no crime or other bad news to report. She also tells Phoebe of a troubled young man who has disappeared from their office. So, Rob, I do like that the little nod that the obituaries have gone up, even though the paper is so thin. I could even see on the back of the paper, I saw that it said obituaries, and then I was like, wait, does she mention that? And then sure enough, Elise came through. um, so, Rob, the people who don't change, like that gentleman that we saw arguing with the cop, is it because their personalities are to begin with so, let's just say, quote unquote, terrible, for lack for a better word, that the magic that the avatars implanted didn't affect them, or it's harder for them to try to implement this change in them, and these people like linger with their basically the emotions that they always had?
So at this point of the episode, we know nothing, right? But it's all so confusing. And later in the episode, they actually do give an explanation. I don't know if it's enough, but they just said that evil has corrupted them too far. Like they've already got bad juju in their mind and in their heart that they cannot be changed so easily. Some would say that those are the true, we're living in the Matrix and those are the ones who get to wake up because they're not falling for this bullshit. But yeah, it's because their heart has already been too corrupted. Like they can't be persuaded even with the Avatar's power. But in my mind, I had it where it was like, is it because they lost Beta? And is that why they weren't able to change everyone? But here's the thing. Later in the episode, they are in the room and they know that they're going to have to continuously take people out. So it seems that they already knew they were going to have to do this. So I think whether we had Beta or not, all of these stragglers who didn't change would still be around.
With the demons, evidently.
But again, it didn't make sense. And that's the other thing, too, is that when we were gearing up to this episode, I was like, okay, so Utopia, that means all the demons are gone?
That's what I thought, too.
But they didn't disappear. They just won't attack, I guess. And that considers the Utopian.
So that's what it is. The demons are going down because it's harder for them to... I think one of the avatars said or Zanku said it's easier for them to it's harder for them to basically cause evil and all these things in the world. But that's not the impression I got. I thought it was just that when they did this, all the demons were supposed to disappear. But yeah, it's kind of like they just were like, oh, well, now it's changed. The writers or the avatars, I don't know who changed it, the writers or the avatars, but someone changed something. But you're right, maybe it was that loss of power.
It could be. So I will say this. So the episode starts out and everything is in perfect formation. There's a lot of synchronized things going on. If I take anything...
Kids, though, was that giving you the other reality where everything was gray and pilgrim? All those kids were in gray school outfits.
I just think it's the easiest way to simplify. It just basically says that, oh, you want an example of what perfect children look like. Everybody's wearing the same outfit. It's uniform. It's the private school thing. I think that was just a coincidence, but if I take anything from this Utopia, it's the synchronized driving, how everyone drives and nobody hits anyone, even though they're all driving all crazy. They never hit a person, and the road rage is gone. And I will say this, when that man disappeared, I'm all up for that. All of you road rage people can go straight to the better place because I cannot fuck with you. And if you have road rage, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm judging you right now. I cannot stand how people are so frustrated on the road. I don't expect you to be saints or angels, but to have that much hate and road rage over the smallest infraction in driving and in pedestrians, it's so disgusting. Y'all can go. There
are people on... You're right. I've been in cars with people who, all of a sudden, it's something activates, and they just go crazy while they're driving. It's completely different. I'm like, whoa! Why are you screaming and cursing at everybody, in the road? What?
And they can't even hear you. It's you literally let out at whatever else you're angry at. It's just the weirdest thing. Now,
I've never had that.
I don't drive, so, of course, if I did drive, I'd have that frustration, but... Then again, I don't drive because I know how fucked up it is out there. I don't like driving. I think it's just... I don't
like it either.
If I
didn't have to, I wouldn't. On Long Island, though, you have... there's nothing around like walking distance. Unfortunately, like the city would be wonderful, but yeah, unfortunately, I hate driving. But you're right. Like you're avoiding it, which is smart.
So one other thing that I noticed in this was also that Leo's avatar getup is gray instead of black, and it
did that change though?
No, it didn't change. No, it was always gray. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, this reminds me of like he hasn't earned his stripes yet, so he has to wear the gray ones to signify that he's new. It's like
you're right. Actually,
it's right. Like Homegirl from Sister Act who doesn't get her habit yet because she's in training. It reminds me so much of her too. But yeah, I noticed that he wears different color than the other ones, and I don't know if that was on purpose or.
Well, Leo has to stand out. You know, he is a main cast member. He can't just blend in with those other avatars.
Yeah.
But you're right. I did notice that too, and I'm like. What? But Rob, there's one other thing I just wanted to notice earlier. Did you think the intro was? I thought it was different for Charm. They showed more of like this effect of, I would call it like the Madonna Ray of Life effect from back in the day when like everything's sped up and like the people are walking at like a brisk speed and everything's like flying by. And then they even had interesting angles in the kitchen when we first see Piper and Phoebe from above. And they were doing like this sequence, like one was moving this way. Really interesting directing-wise, I thought. I don't know if it had anything to do with Utopia, but...
I know, that's the thing. So it's interesting, but I also find it really weird that a Utopia also means that everyone is in perfect formation. They just throw things, and without looking, you catch it. Like, that's not Utopia.
No.
You know, like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing that everyone had to be altered in order for this to work. Especially the sisters and how everything just seemed very like just like season 3. It just didn't make sense for them to have to change also.
But is it like, were you confused that it wasn't, I'm glad it wasn't like that, again, season 6, everything is perfect and everyone's like, oh my god, they have to be perfect, but were you surprised that they kind of seemed almost like themselves? Besides the emotion part, it wasn't like the avatars, I guess, changed too much because Phoebe is still making wisecracks and crap like that. So I thought for sure, like the way they showed with people, you know, helping that woman pick her fruit up off the thing, that this changed everyone's like personality, but I guess it didn't.
Yeah.
They remain something, like something remains of them, like their normal personality.
So Paige also is handling Kyle's death, you know, pretty well in this one. But then we also hear the phrase, this is the second time we've heard it by now, is he's off at a better place.
Yeah, because you want all those damn drivers to go there too.
Yeah, so
those road rangers.
So that just is sort of the solution on dealing with death, is they're off to a better place. Nobody gets mad when people die.
But where's the better place?
Well, the other thing is like, okay, if we're okay with death, then honestly, like, why is that an indication like, okay, let's just kill more people now since everybody's cool with it?
Right.
You know, it's I don't know, it's just this plan is weird. It's just weird the way it's executed. Okay.
Again, so, the avatars didn't tell them that they were going to be patrolling in a room and watching people and making decisions. Does this one go? Yeah, it's just...
Well, we'll get to that. So Zanku attacks Leo and takes him to a pyramid. He tells Leo what the avatars had done thousands of years earlier. An Egyptian mage named Anubis had led a revolt against the avatars. He tries to convince Leo to join him against the other avatars. So, crap, what did I do? So I like this because just listen to Zanku talk about like the hieroglyphics and all of this stuff. It is so The Mummy when he's telling the story in the beginning of the movie. I love it. It's just such... I wonder if they did that on purpose.
That was my question to you. Do you think that they did that on purpose? Or did they just have that mummy set open from season 5 where they're like, oh, we got this mummy set? No, but I do think they did that, right? Because of him.
Yeah. But I also think it's really interesting that Leo gets kidnapped by Zanku
Ooh,
after
but it
they
was
like
hot.
battle each other, and then like he is just so chill about listening to this man's story. Like I would still be fighting him wherever he took me. Like we like this isn't a chat session. Like well, I don't care what you have to tell me. There's no story. You're a demon. It's just funny.
That's the weird thing. That's why I'm pissed with Leo because it's like so like he's so gung ho about these things, and all of a sudden like it's Zanku like, oh yeah,
But yeah, I miss the earlier days when the charm ones would literally come in, they'd kill anybody, and then be like, "Oh,
yeah,
did we kill the
yeah.
wrong person?" Like they just ask later. Like they're not worried about it. They come in and be like, "Okay, we got a demon to kill." Bam, you're gone. Like they don't sit there and like listen to demons talk and figure out if they're the right ones. No, they come in, guns blazing, then they figure out if they did the right thing.
You're right though. That is such a charmed one's attitude.
So Leo goes to the other avatars, and Alpha shows him how they maintain utopia. If someone causes excessive conflict, the avatars remove them and they vanish. Now, so no free will. There's no free will in this utopia, basically. If you show any kind of heavy emotion, then you're out. Now, this reminded me a lot of Joy from Inside Out. Basically, the avatars lives by her creed that everyone should just be happy. There's no room for sadness, and why would anyone want to be sad? Because happiness is the best place to be. But I just don't see how. I mean, this is literally a trial and error thing, and they've tried this before. But it's like I don't know why they think that the only way for utopia is to take away everyone's choice. That's the only way. I mean, isn't that really sort of like sad that there won't be any kind of peace or harmony unless we're controlled by a leader and just removed of any like free will? It's just so weird that this was the solution.
But confrontation, you're right. Any emotion, like, so were they judging those people based on situations? I hope, because someone could have just, I don't know. Well, I guess death for these people mean nothing. Everyone goes through a great put. But like, there's situations that you're, oh my god, my kid just fell down and they're it's bleeding all over the place. Like
it gets to a certain point, like they have to aggressively share all of this like rage and hate to a certain degree. Like it's one thing to just be like, oh, I stubbed my toe or whatever, but at the same time, if they just keep escalating, if they keep going, then it's time for you to go.
I feel though, like eventually though, even that, I feel like they would just get hard on everything. Like after a while, they're like, okay, this is like, all right, this emotion's okay. But I feel like if they had more time to this, even like the slightest, I mean, we'll never know, I guess, but this could have just gotten worse and worse at like, no emotion, just, that's it. You just walk through your day and that's it. You gotta be happy.
Well, so the other thing is that we witnessed these two men fighting in the alley, and I don't understand how this is a definition of what utopia is the fact that everyone, all the onlookers are just watching them fight. No one is concerned. They're more like confused, if not disgusted, at these people fighting. And then when they disappear, are their memories wiped of them? Do they know that people have literally just obliterated in front of them? Or do they not know that magic exists? Like, I don't know how all of this is carried out.
I think it was erased, right? Like the person was almost just erased, but they did remember that they put in their brain that the person's gone and they went to the better place, and that's the message: better place, better place.
Well, so a utopia is where you would help one another out and prevent them from fighting or stop them instead of just watching them being like, ooh, why are they fighting? It's just such a weird definition of what utopia is to avatars. So
that's right. You're right. It's through the avatar's lens of what a utopia is. That's right. So true. It's not like the quote unquote what we think utopia would be, probably. It's a skewed lens. I just want to say that, did you get the feeling that the avatars are renting the floating head courtroom from last season? Like, well, I feel like that's where their base is. I think they're in that court.
I was going to say that it's the same as that.
It is, okay. So then I'm like, okay, avatars.
I mean, the floor plan is the same, so I'm assuming it's the same room. They just use the same set.
we'll say that. Let's hope that the Avatars, we overthrew that court. Maybe we'll say for continuity reasons. But yeah, I think it's just that the sets. Again, I do like that the Avatars are as ancient as Egypt. Yes, I think that it is brought up because of we got Zanku and who he is, but I do like that they're that old, that this has been done before, and I don't know, I kind of liked that scene when Zanku pressing Leo against the Egyptian hieroglyphic wall for a minute. I don't know. I'm having flashbacks to Happy Halloween from season 3 with Leo and Daryl. So, the sisters are making plans for a party at the manor. The first real one that they've held in years. Paige comes down. She doesn't seem to feel anything for Kyle's death. In this world, no one dies, but goes to a better place. That is still where I want to know. Is that Oblivion? Is that a Void? Is that the demon area where Cole was going down? Like, where are these people going to?
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, it's just a code word to sort of glorify death. But they don't exist anymore. They're gone. That is, to me, is the same as dying. They're not going off. It's not like a whole entire world was created to just put all this cattle in this room and just have them be all mad and angry all the time. Like, there's no conscience. They're gone.
So their soul is killed too.
Apparently. I think so.
Damn, Avatars, you vicious. So, Leo goes back to the pyramid and meets Zanku. Zanku is trying to decipher the recipe for the Avatar killing potion. They need the Charmed Ones on their side. Leo goes to Phoebe, takes her to Kyle's apartment, and she has a vision of him being killed by an Avatar. He tells her of what the Avatars are really up to, and that Beta was the one who killed Kyle.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Go ahead.
Phoebe is horrified, but still wants to live in the demon-free world they always wanted. So, Rob, what did I write here? So Phoebe's... Oh, no. Leo. I wrote Leo, how fast you change. That's what I just can't getting over. Like, I just love that Leo is just like... he changes on the snap of a finger. I mean, I know it's not, but I just have a problem with the fact that he ushered this through. He ushered this in. This is all his hope and prayers for this whole thing. And in one episode, like we said, the end of last episode, he's got the, ooh, kind of like, just pain in my ass. The party. Why is Daryl not at this damn party that they're throwing?
Yeah, I noticed the absence of Daryl, and I was very shocked that he wasn't invited, or maybe he just didn't go, I don't know, but yeah, I was shocked he wasn't there. I mean, out of all those people, it would have been nice to either have Elise there or somebody that they actually knew, instead of all these, like, extras just chilling in their house.
But, right, Rob, they do this every time they have a gathering. They get a bunch of people that we know that these sisters have no idea who these people are. I'm sorry, they don't know this many people. And Paige for sure doesn't. So, I just hate that. Yeah, like, give us a Daryl, a Sheila, an Elise. Yes, you're right, even an Elise to show, but no. You're right. They just always love the writers when the Charmed Ones have a party, a baby shower. Throw in every random person that we've never seen and fill the whole manor. Yeah, that's how I feel about these scenes.
Well, I did love Piper's food spread. My God, all of that looked so good.
Ooh, yes.
I love that table full of food. It looked great. I don't know how she got all those groceries. She never cooks for anybody. But yeah, no, it was a nice spread. I loved it. So you gave me a face about Phoebe's vision. I love that she touches the snow globe and only sees half the story. The woman was provoked. It was self-defense. Kyle got what he needed because he tried to take out an avatar. Like, what? My life or yours? What do you want me to do? Like, Beta had to do what she had to do. I just find that funny. So later in the episode, though, we do find out that Phoebe apparently saw that Kyle tried to kill Beta as well. We just don't visually see it. But I just like that what turned her was seeing only from Kyle's point of view, that he died out of, like, vicious rage, and Beta just came in and was like, I don't like this person, and just killed. No, it was
That's
self-defense. It
But
was
that's what
self-defense.
Leo made it played it off too, though. Like Leo was like, "Look, the avatars kill Kyle," but I'm like,
Yeah. Jada, because it was self-defense. I don't know what you thought. And Leo, vision or not, even though the time had rewound,
he knew.
I remember that you took out a certain Kyle Brody yourself. So
Yes.
fuck you, Avatar. You did the same thing. So I don't know why this is different. It's funny. Just think it's funny. Also, Phoebe's vision. Now, she's convinced that the avatars are onto something because she sees her kids, she sees her nephews, and everything is fine. There are no more demon, not since the avatars. What would it have taken to get to that point in her life? Because she was happy. She was like, there are no demons. How
Right.
how was
Right.
that vision supposed to become true? I mean, do you know how many people that the avatars would have gotten rid of for her to just be in such zen? Maybe Leo literally had to die in order for her to get this vision.
Yes.
When was she going to
Yes.
get that vision?
I think
Because this
honestly,
happened immediately when the world changed. It happened right away. So how are they going to get to that point in her
with
life?
this baby. I think. Do you remember how she got the vision quest and she had this similar vision with her daughter? I think the avatars used the vision in her head and knew that that's what she wanted as a perfect world, and that's why she saw it like that.
So
I think.
that vision was fake.
I guess it would be real if they went along with everything, but yes, I think it's because it's the same thing. I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, Charmies, but I feel like it's her. She goes to a school, she finds out that she's got a little girl, she's got that long hair. It's like the same exact thing from her vision quest. So that's what I think, because they know that this is what Phoebe's on a roll for, and that that's what would have made her feel like her perfect utopia. And I guess if no one had a problem with how they did it, she would have gotten to that part. But yeah, Leo had to die. Leo had to die.
So at the party, Zanku and 3 demons flame in. Leo fights the demons and the avatars remove him. So with that, did you notice the long-haired bearded demon? He was shooting out Liu Kang fireballs. He even positioned his hands the exact way that he would.
I
Either
have
him
to
or
take
Ken.
a look. I knew they were throwing fireballs, but
Either him or Ryu. Like, it was the exact same, like, position. It was so funny the way he released the fireballs.
that is so funny. I should have
Yeah.
saw that.
I just thought that was funny. So the party resumes as if nothing happened, and it doesn't seem as if Piper and Paige feel anything for the loss of Leo. Again, the way that he was just like saying his goodbye, and they had to literally watch him just disappear. Like, I don't know, that was a little rough for me, but I was like, I forgot. I just forgot this was the plan, is that he had to die. And so Phoebe is worried, and Chris and Wyatt, however, are consolable. Like, they're just crying.
Yes.
Phoebe lays hands on the Book of Shadows and as Leo had instructed and remembers all the people who died. Phoebe realizes that Leo was right about the avatars and that she has lost her ability to feel pain. She talks to Piper and about Leo, and the only reason Chris and Wyatt are crying is because they're too young to feel the way that the adults would have, being programmed to feel.
So why aren't the children programmed then?
Yeah, they're too young. So programmed, again, that's a very triggering word, that this is the only way that utopia can be accomplished. It's so sad that pretty much needed to happen. And so Piper finally breaks, and then they convince Paige to go to Kyle's apartment and tell her that Beta killed Kyle. And then Paige also breaks down as well. She's like, what are we going to do now? She's like, I'm ready. Let's do something. So I see what Leo's plan was, and again, what a blow. And I believe Piper when she was, starting to feel for, Leo being gone or whatever. And I also think that it makes sense that Phoebe was the first to be turned.
Yes.
I mean, she's always been the one with the headspace, the one that can't be sort of programmed as much as the other two sisters. She, because of her, power of vision and empathy and all that, like it made sense that Leo went to Phoebe first.
Yes,
so
I figured because of her. Yes, her empathy, supposedly. Yeah. I'm hating on Phoebe. I love the scene. I love the scene of the losses. I love that we get Prue's tombstone because can't pay for Shannon Doherty's likeness in that episode, but we got to see Andy at least, so we know that she remembers that far back. No, but I did like that scene, and I did like how they played it, and I did like Holly and Rose's acting when they come to, like why would they do that? Mm-hmm. Whatever. Piper. So I like it. That was the highlight of this episode for me if I had to choose a highlight. Okay, see 5. The sisters, now opposed to the avatars, go to Zanku. Zanku has deciphered the recipe and the sisters make the potions. Okay, but how did they make it in the ancient Egyptian urn still again?
I know, they found another, like, literal vial of it. I thought that was funny.
It's like, okay. They enter the chamber where the avatars are holding court and demand the restoration of the prior world. And then, just like that, Alpha agrees to rewind time. That wasn't so hard. But the avatars lack the strength to bring Kyle back.
Well, I think that makes sense, right? I mean, the avatars are very transparent in this scene. They're doing it for the people, and they just have a very convincing way that their way is the best way. But they're not there to harm or take prisoner of anyone. Like, we're just trying to do you a solid, but if you don't like it, we'll take our utopia and go.
I mean, God, that was easy. Yeah, well, so you're right. They're just like agreeable.
They really just wanted to help. But again, this is where the lackluster part comes in. I didn't expect them to have like a battle because, the avatars are not evil people. They just are wrong. They're just wrong. We don't agree with them. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yes. That's the lackluster part. You mean like, it's not even like, to me, that's the same thing. It was just like, okay. Not even like a big like, and then but this and this happened and we did this. Nothing. It was just like, okay, we'll come back again. Maybe you'll be ready one day.
But I don't think it's out of character that the avatars agreed to just turn everything back. I think it makes complete sense that they would agree if they didn't like what they saw.
But didn't it almost make it seem like that these ancient Egyptians really like had to battle them? They had to kill them to get rid of them. This was just like, well, the charmed ones didn't go with it, so.
Well,
I'm glad.
I mean, it's magic against magic. Anubis didn't have the power to just, teleport to their lair. I mean, they had to fight their way to send the message that I don't like what's going on. So
that you're making the episode better for me now. So while the entering again, these girls know how to make a scene. The 3 of them entering Zanku's lair to get the potion. Damn, I'll leave your what they say when they enter. So, do you love how quick it was for Phoebe to be like, kill Kyle, bring back the world? Like, Paige is like, can Kyle come back? We'll reset it to Kyle. And they're like, no, we don't got that power. We could do it right till after then. And Phoebe's like, bring back the world. I mean, I know that was going to be the answer, and I'm sure that's what Paige would have said too, but I just love that it's just like, this has to do with Paige's feelings and who she cares about, and Kyle, bring back the world, because we don't care about Paige's feelings.
Well, it makes sense that Kyle cannot be brought back. You're asking the avatars to bring people back from the dead. It's one thing to turn back time, but again, if Beta had lived, maybe they could have done it.
Yeah, you're right. They might have had that power.
But the thing is that Kyle died before the change. We'll take everything back before the change. But other than that, you're on your own. Like, everybody died. I mean, that's just like saying, well, everybody who died in the last 2 days before the change gets to be brought back. Why only Kyle?
Well, that's true. I agree. And they had this thing that, he did kill one of their own. But I just wish it would have came from maybe Paige, or Paige would have made a gesture. To me, it's always just like whatever Phoebe. And I feel, I'm sorry, and again, I love the characters of Phoebe and Piper. I just always want to preface that. I don't want Charmies to think that I hate their characters, but I truly think it's just another thing, and I'm reading too much into the scene, but anything that has to do with Paige, it's really, honestly, I feel like it's always swept under. You know, she's not one of the original sisters. She's always just, unfortunately, I feel like their eyes. That's how I feel. But we'll say that they love her equal. But I wish I got a thing from Paige, even like a shake of the head, a thing, before Paige would have said, Phoebe would have said that. That's all I think. I would have made it a little better for me. Rob, your man on the steps returns. He's getting up gracefully. They reverse time, and he's gracefully coming up those steps again after he gracefully put himself down.
I did notice him.
And very forbidding, I think, Zanku across the street when Piper and Phoebe see him standing there, and then the bus rolls by, and then he shimmers away. I like that, because I think at this point, Piper's like, what? You know, I think this is going to be a problem now.
Yeah, that was a gracious bow. I love his exit. It was very like, you know, we're not done. Like, thank you, but you're gonna die next. Like, it makes sense, and I love it. And he could have easily just attacked them there too, but he's like, I'm gonna just go do my thing. You do your thing, and then we will meet here again, high noon, 10 paces. And
yes, this ain't over. This ain't. But I like that he's loyal to a degree. Like, he worked with them, he knew what he needed to get done, and he did it.
Yeah. So the avatars, knowing that they are going to have to kill people, and it's just so easy for them to justify it in a way of like, okay, look, people are going to die a lot throughout this whole thing. It might as well just be done by us instead of it being done between good and evil. It's just such a weird philosophy to live. It's so weird. I just can't believe how easy it was for them to just be like, people are going to die. We might as well just be the ones to do it and not everybody else.
Yeah, it really is. But again, it's just their thought process.
So going back to when they interrupt Zanku, you know, the sisters are all standing there, and Phoebe has this line, and she just goes, "What's the matter, Zanku? You chicken?" And so I read this. I don't know how true this is, but it would be really hilarious if it was true. So Brad Kern wrote this line, but he did it not knowing about the chain restaurant of Zanku Chicken.
And isn't that right out where you guys are? Like, that's where you guys have them, in California.
Yeah, the crew had to go to Brad and be like, you know, there's a place called Zanku Chicken, right? And he had no idea when he wrote this line, so it was a coincidence that it just happened to be in the episode.
I thought it was Alyssa ad-lib, because I thought she was even smiling when she said it. Like, too, it's kind of like, oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
All right, so Leo and Piper both remember what happened to them. Piper and Phoebe are walking on the sidewalk. And on the sidewalk, there she is. She made it just in time. She made it just in time. All right. So it looks like we have our witch watcher. She has found this person. You are into the stories now. You have to finish them. But since you burned my books, you're going to have to use your imagination if you don't want to end up being her dinner.
I think I didn't see this whole thing, but is this the Netflix movie where the two kids had to write the books for the witch?
Oh,
Midnight Books?
I am going to do that witch very soon. Yes, she is my next one. Okay, because I love her. No.
Is it called Midnight Books?
No, it's called Night Books.
Night Books. It's on my list.
Yeah. It is not Night Books, but such a good witch. I love her. This is Belinda, the bookish babysitter from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh my god. Okay, okay, okay.
She's
I
telling the
like.
kid who she's babysitting that he's read too many books, everything is out of them. Now you have to finish the story because you burnt the books. So it just forces him to use his imagination and have fun and yada yada. But it was very
Yes.
questionable about her origin and if she is a witch, given that she has all these magic books. Now, a friend of mine suggested that I use her on the show, and I go, look, there was nothing in the episode that suggested that she's a witch. But if I do research online and it is written that her character is one, I will use her. And so the wiki did say that she is a young witch whose voice or power brings
Wow.
her voice and power brings out these characters out of the book. And so with that being said, she uses these kids sometimes, or not these kids, but she uses these books to capture them and keep them because she doesn't she knows her own strength and her power, but the way I read it is that her voice kind of brings these characters out. So she uses
Yes.
these books to capture the characters in. And then she uses that to teach kids to use their imagination as well. So she's a good
Was
witch. She just does it unorthodox and forces these kids to, like, you better use your imagination or die. Like, it's on you. But, at the end of the day, you'll learn a lesson.
oops.
But
Well, was this the tale of
the bookish babysitter.
the bookish babysitter?
So yeah, she's very beloved in the series. I think she's one of the happier standout characters. She's got this lightning blonde, titanium hair, and it's like spiked and like stuck to her face, and she's very
New age.
eccentric.
Yeah,
Yes,
eccentric. Yes, yes.
she's
Ooh.
cool. Would I want her as a babysitter? No, but we'll consider her a witch, and we'll welcome her into the fold. Welcome, bookish babysitter.
It makes sense that she's a witch, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Piper and Phoebe are walking on the sidewalk when they see Zanku across the street. He waves goodbye, and as a bus passes in front of him, he disappears without a trace. Then, our very last scene, we see Kyle Brody appearing in front of Paige, announcing that he is a white lighter. All right, so this is the final scene of Kyle Brody, aka Kerr Smith. Overall, what did you think about Kyle Brody and his story arc?
They must be desperate for white lighters up there now. I think they're. I liked it. It tied into the avatars enough that he wasn't just a wasted character. He wasn't a Jenny from season 2. He actually contributed to the storyline. Did I want him for Paige? No. But you know what? Paige got to have a boyfriend again for a little while. He furthered the storyline. Kerr Smith, attractive man. Just not a fan of Kyle's in all. But did I hate him 100%? Possibly. But I didn't mind him.
Okay. Well, I thought he was super handsome the way
Yes.
that he
Oh my god, that
appeared
helps.
in the scene. In this scene in particular, I just liked his demeanor. He looked happy or whatever. When he became a white lighter, hopefully he let go of all that damn anger and is going up there. Because I can't have him, being a charge to all these new witches with his attitude.
Kill them. He'll be like, shoot them all.
Yeah, like, hopefully he's let all of that go. But also, I love the fact how he was like, who says we're not going to meet again someday? And I'm just like, okay, well, when you do, she's going to be not available. So good luck seeing her.
Weren't you surprised, though, that they didn't try to, or is this a cliche? Can it only be done for Piper and Leo? Like, that, hell, he died, but what does that mean? She's half white lighter, too. It's been done before. Like, they didn't just want to do it again, or, like, that's it. Kerr was signed on for 6 episodes. He got the Nick Lachey.
I guess he didn't test well. It just wasn't meant to be for him and her to be together. I don't know. I have no idea.
He did seem to have foresight, though, Rob. Like, you're saying, like, did he get, like, a little more calm? He did say, like, oh, I was a little crazy there. So maybe the death gave him a little insight into his psyche, but, yeah. Ooh, white lighter? Okay. But Rose, again, I think she does great with these scenes when she has to show emotion. when someone dies, she's always good. So good on Rose.
Well, that concludes our episode. This is episode 13, Charmageddon. And I'd like to say that the move, we're still in the middle of it as I'm recording this, so I don't have any news for my move. Real briefly, Ryan, how was your birthday? Did you have a good one?
Oh, thank you. Yes, it was the day after Thanksgiving. I was still full from the day before, so I try to take it light. Had a quiet Thanksgiving, quiet birthday, but got some Christmas stuff done. And I gotta say, at this point, I'm alive and, healthy. So that's all I could ask for in this day and age when the world is falling apart around us. So I'm happy, and I was thankful for that.
Very good, very good. And to those who follow us on Instagram and Twitter, you'll notice that we put out a little bit of a hint as to what's happening on Patreon. Ryan, for his birthday, is getting an entire episode devoted to just him. I have given all of the patrons in the attic a chance to comment or DM any question they had for Ryan, any comment they wanted to share, thirst tweets, what have you.
I love that these thirst. Yeah, that's the only place I'm getting thirst tweets. But thank you, hell, thank you.
And the whole episode will just be me interviewing Ryan and getting to know him and learn more about this co-host that we have.
I hope that's interesting for you all.
But in addition to that, we also talked about our Thanksgiving plans and what we did, and also I have stories about me moving and all of that stuff, so you'll learn a little bit more of our personal lives. Yay. In this bonus episode that is currently on there or coming up as well. So anyone who wants to join Patreon for bonus episodes, definitely look into it. It's patreon.com/BWTH podcast and join for a month, see what you think, and listen to our episodes, and a lot of great stuff is happening on there.
And at least take a look at our visual episodes for you guys if you ever wonder what we do while we record. It's very naughty. We're both naked right now.
So next week on Charmed, Carpe Demon.
Oh, it's not Carp Demon as I call for years? No, you're probably saying it right.
It's a play on words, yes. So I don't know exactly what this episode's about, but I do know we get a certain guest star. It's like out with the old, in with the new. One has to die, another one has to come in. This is how it is.
For another guest star now. Bye.
Yeah. It was Phoebe's turn first, then it was Paige's. Now it's back to Phoebe. It's her turn again, and here comes another guy. But I don't remember this episode. Do you remember what this episode's about?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
In the vague sense that I know plot points of it, so I think I know.
Is this the Robin Hood one? Or is this later?
No, I think this is it. He comes in and...
This is when he gets, like, the Robin Hood
this is part of the thing.
Okay. Yeah. All right, well, I'm excited, and...
Another Halliwell rides out on a motorcycle, possibly, from the manor.
We will have another episode next week. Oh, excuse me. We will have another episode next week. Look forward to this second half of the season. And stay tuned for Charmy Confessions and have a great Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy brunch, charmed ones. Charmies. Charmy Confessions.
All right, so we have a couple of things to confess from our Charmies. There was a little bit of interaction and notes that were written throughout the week, so I thought I would share some of these. First thing that I will talk about is on our Twitter page. Let me see. For Extreme Makeover World Edition, Rue, as in Rue Loves Travel, on Twitter says that she loves Ryan's choice of Vincent Owens this week for the Witch of the Week.
Oh, thank you.
So there's that. And then, so Philip Lee Curtis, he is our charming Australian who's guest starred on here a couple of times. So he is still currently trying to catch up with our podcast, and he has now finished season 6 quiz show. So,
oh God!
So he said that
show.
he said he got 11 out of 12 on your quiz, and he got 15 points out of 22 on my quiz. So he's made a comeback from season 5, and this means that he's almost caught up to date. And if you go to this man's page, there's one specific thread where he comments, and under each comment is each season's quiz show and his score. So he's got it all in one spot.
That is amazing. I wish I had mine. I used to just write them to tell you, and then I just delete them. But
yeah,
I love that. Ooh, you're going for the master quiz level here, like the quiz master.
Yeah. All right, so then we have Instagram. So Instagram was very fun. There is this Charmy goes by Spells X Potions Babe. She was hilarious. So I post about Lena Luthor, who was our Witch of the Week that week, and she says, "Guys, I just binged up to season 4 in 4 weekends. Please let a bitch catch up." I wish I had found you sooner to be involved in giveaways and turning in my hot band meter. Having so much fun. Maybe I'll catch up before the end of season 8. And so I replied, I said, "You are so sweet. 4 weekends. That's very impressive. Glad you are enjoying the podcast. You turn in your hot band meters anytime you want. Always curious what people think each season." And then she replies, "Well, I work 3 12-hour shifts back to back. You lovely men keep me going. I have the Book of Shadows DVD set too, and I love that you guys both make fun of, but also praise the show, and don't do the whole let's take a rewatch and bash a show like some podcasts unfortunately do. This Charmy can't wait to keep listening." So, yes.
Surprise, Charmy, when you get to this season. Hi!
So, yes, thank you so much for that comment. I really appreciate it. And yeah, what a lovely comment. I love that she's just binging us. I love when we're
I love that 4 seasons. Oh my God, that is dedication. That is dedication. Well, you are bingeable.
Yeah. We also did get a review on Apple Podcasts. Best Charm Podcast, Wicked Charmed Episodic Breakdown Show. Loving listening to the current review of Season 6. Their observations are on point. Like, I too noticed how Piper is the most desirable by the classic men always. So that's something you said. And Phoebe gets the hot, devilish smile guys with long-lasting arcs, and Paige rarely has dates and relationships with magic and career storylines.
So I'm so glad.
So that was written by Kitty Boards. So thank you, Kitty Boards, if you're listening. Thank you so much for that review.
That was great. I'm so glad people are enjoying season 6 too, because we know that is, well, we found out some people find season 6 as their favorite, which is amazing, but we know the later seasons people can get a little but so I love that people are so excited still.
Yeah. And lastly, I wanted to mention that I did put a poll up on Instagram saying goodbye to Cal Brody and just getting an overall sort of did we like Kyle Brody? This is actually
Brody, yes.
Yeah.
Brody.
So it was 59% no, with 41% yes, liking Kyle.
I voted twice. Should I confess, Charmies? Should I confess that I voted that I did not miss him twice.
Well, there were a couple of sort of like follow-ups with that. So Melanie Bledsoe,
Hi,
excuse
Melanie.
me, she says, I said no because he was obsessive and made a lot of bad decisions. I don't like him as a person, and he never should have been made a white lighter. It didn't make sense that Paige could never seen him again once he became a white lighter, but I'm glad because my girl deserves so much better than these broken men she kept falling for. So, but all that said, I enjoyed the character on the show. He was more interesting and layered than most men on the show have been, and the actor did an excellent job. Also, he's gorgeous, obviously, so no. I was not a Kyle Brody fan, but I am definitely a Kerr Smith fan.
Everything that she said is yes. That's the thing. He's so, you look and then you're like, well, but then he opens his mouth and darts you.
And then always pretty with Aurora. She's good with her one-liners. She responds to the Kyle poll and says 100 hell no.
Love it. I love it. I love when we get charming confessions and interactions.
So that'll do for Charmy Confessions, and I'm sure we'll have more. Any thoughts and praise, comments, whatever you have on any previous episode that we've done or the current one that you're listening to, feel free to tweet at us, BWTH Podcast, or you can DM us on Instagram, Brunch with the Halliwells, all one word.
2 weeks on a fresh new charm, a hero from the past.
Robin Hood.
Of course you are.
Has come to help the charmed ones give to the poor.
Anything that can go wrong
Sorry, my fault.
will go wrong.
But even the man in tights needs a little help.
Dear. Made married.
Billy Zane guest stars, a fresh new charm in 2 weeks on the WB's Big Sun.